Okay. Um, so welcome to this episode 4 of the Cyber-Footdy podcast. Um, the topic for today, or the title for today, is where do we start? Is it either crisis or transition? I mean, uh, so on the panel today, we have Farid, which is a Madridista analyst, our in-house analyst. We were supposed to have a Barcelona fan, but he couldn't join. I think they're busy celebrating their Copa del Rey victory. So we'll just jump right in. Just a quick intro. This podcast is the podcast that we give you a mix of Madridista football, some cybersecurity aspects, some travel and food reviews. So just jumping right in to our main segment. First up, starting with congratulations to Barcelona for their well-deserved victory. Yes, but Farid, from your own point of view, from a Madridista's perspective, how seriously do you take this Copa del Rey loss? Isolated incident. Yeah, not in general, because we will get there. Specifically, this loss that we had.
Okay. Um, Thank you, Dr. Nasser, for having me on the podcast. Um, in isolation, I don't think it is anything to be too alarmed about. It was a good performance from the team. We pushed them all the way to extra time, and it could have gone either way. Many can argue it could have gone either way. There were some positives to take away from the game. For example, in the second half, after the second half, we had more of the ball. We had possession, and with the introduction of Luka Modric and Adagula, I think we saw some bright sparks from the team that was missing for the entire season. You could argue. So it was actually a good performance, and we put up a fight, and it's something that we can build up on for the next 5 games that we have going to the end of the season.
Okay, so with that aside, we're going to take just a 90-degree shift to Barcelona's season. Do you think this win encapsulates their season to show that it has been a success? Basically, my main question here is, does this win that has turned out into a trophy, even though it's the King's Cup or Copa del Rey, validates Hansi Flick's project so far?
Oh yes, it does. It does. I think um, since he came on, Hansi Flick, you could see the immediate improvement in their team, because this was a team that won practically nothing the previous season, and then now they have a Spanish Cup, they have a Copa del Rey, they're still leading La Liga, and possibly they're favourites to win the Champions League. It's a huge turnaround, and that is a testament of a new coach. What we're also hoping to get from ours if we do get one. But he
Yeah,
actually, yes, it's a validation of their prowess, and they should be proud of that.
exactly. So moving to the controversies in La Liga. So where do we even start? I don't know. Is it the VAR decisions? Is it the Negreira case? Is it the controversial penalty kicks? I mean, it's been a mess. We can all agree on that. But then there is an issue also on our side. I mean, it's in our right to complain, but the continuous complaining, exposing different uh, errors on Real Madrid TV, even though we know Real Madrid TV is one of the least watched TVs in the Spanish sports section, even in Spain. But then this exposing of every referee. I think I was watching an analysis on ESPN FC that they said you can make any bad referee look good or any good referee look bad. Yes, we know that these things are there. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted the Barca fan to have his own point of view. But since we don't have that, from your own point of view, what do you think generally about all this mess in especially in La Liga? I mean, we have them all over, but they are normally isolated cases, favoring so-called Chelsea in quotes. in previous seasons, some Man City decisions. I mean, all these they're coming, but you can see how clean the victory of the English champions were without any complaints. So why is it always La Liga? Always.
Well, I think the whole Negreira case that went to the courts, it was the sort of the straw that broke the camel's back, I could say. So there have always been these conspiracy shouts that referees are out to get us and whatnot. So, but after the case went to court, so everybody, it was more like it shed light on the situation and it was public. So everybody now just rolled on that conspiracy. I, I, I think it's more or less the officiating that, from my perspective, the officiating is bad and it could be better. However, the whole tantrums of posting videos and instigating and aggravating the situation, that it's not helping the team. So they should try and become more disciplined, and that's what I would like to see from the team at least. Because this whole whining attitude, it's not the reason why we became fans, and I hope that they kick it out of the team as soon as possible.
So narrowing it down to, let's say, the Copa del Rey final, you've seen the pre-game show. I mean, what happened? The theater that happened between the press conference of the right, starting from the press conference of the referees to their bold statements, down to us reacting with different statements, and the main show, which was the match. I think actually most of the major decisions. Now, I heard a video of Jude Bellingham screaming all the 50-50s went to Barcelona, yes, but all the major decisions as well went to us, I think, especially. So there are two penalty shouts by Barcelona
Yeah.
that were supposed to be given. I mean, we have to be very, very pragmatic, put sentiments aside about our beloved Real Madrid. But then there are two clear, I would say, penalty. At least one should have been given. That is one. But even on our own side, I mean, there's maybe a red card for De Jong for that chance. The only excuse was he was not the last man, but it was a blatant stop, to a possible goal. And also, there were two penalties that were called, but then offside was overruled. Do you think if it was Barcelona, they would even check that offside or something? I mean, all these things. But personally, I think everything generally went in favor of Real Madrid, and we still lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I want your view on the whole match, specifically on the refereeing.
Prior to the match, I have my reservations about the referee. To be honest, it's one of we don't really. I think
It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it happened and they kept him. But I would be the first to admit that he actually had a very good game. And if anything, I would say that Real Madrid were very fortunate with the goals that they got in that particular game. Regarding the two penalty incidents for Barcelona, I can only remember one. I think it was
One with Ferran Torres?
the Koulibaly one. The Koulibaly one that he got kicked by. I think it was
Okay.
Rudiger.
That's by Dani Ceballos.
Yes, by Dani
The
Ceballos.
drag.
Yes, that one.
There was one towards the end that he was clearly clipped. I mean, Ferran Torres was clearly clipped in the penalty
Oh
area.
yeah, okay. I think that was the one that was on the edge of the box that they were
Yes.
arguing that it could have been a free kick. Yeah, yeah, that was
For
a
me,
foul.
it was a
That was a
clear
foul.
penalty.
Yeah, that was a foul. That was a foul. And the De Jong red card shout, it could have gone either way. Some referees would give it and some wouldn't.
Exactly,
In the spirit
yeah.
of the game, it's a final. I can understand why you wouldn't give that.
Yeah.
But the one that actually infuriated me the most was the incident at the end of the game when a foul was given on Mbappe. And the whole Rudiger and Jude Bellingham, Lucas Vazquez, all of them ended up with red cards. I mean, you could argue and say that they were infuriated and they didn't want to lose the game, but it's no way to conduct yourself professionally. And this is the reason why we as fans have our problems with Ancelotti, because it feels like the team is not responding to him.
Yeah, we are going to get Ancelotti. I know you have a lot of things.
Yeah, but the officiating,
So
it was fair.
yeah,
It was a good job done by the Bogos. That's my opinion.
so yeah, exactly. So just to round up this particular referee debacle, generally, do you think uh, it's a yes or no question? Do you think VRL is simple football or killing the vibe, basically? Yes or no?
No, no, I don't think it's
It's
a,
not.
it's not it.
It's not. It's
It's not.
okay.
It's not killing the
Okay. So moving on to one of the main aspects, Carlo Ancelotti's future. So the big question for I think all Madridistas in the room or worldwide is should Real Madrid actually move on from Carlo Ancelotti this summer? That is the first aspect. So I mean we're going to break it down too much. So we're going to focus on should we actually move on from him?
Yes, we should, without a doubt.
I mean, what was the main breaking point for you?
Oh, I would have sacked him since the AC Milan game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, the reason why I had a U-turn actually towards the end. I was Carlo out from the beginning. Nobody saw this coming until when things got bad, and I am Carlo in actually as payback to Madridistas that have short-sighted views, basically. So currently, if I were Florentino Perez, I would keep him. Basically, let us continue suffering. I mean, I know it's not people want results and stuff, but you could see it at the beginning of the season, we weren't playing better. We were just pulling through, you know, like
Suffering
we
through every game.
miraculously
Yeah.
getting results miraculously. Even if you ask the fans, how did you win the game? They don't know.
Yeah.
Even the players. Sometimes we're just playing out of position, just trying
That's true.
different things. Just give the ball to Rodrigo or Vini to try. I mean, Vini can try 100 nonsense and one will go in and will win the game. I mean, so many things. So that was the reason why. That's for me, basically. And I'm still Carlo in, basically. But I know 99.9% of Madridistas are still Carlo out. So this is my stand, basically. But next is when we drill down. Who do you think? It's not about, okay, fair and square. Everybody wants Carlo out. Okay, but who? Everybody is focusing on Xabi Alonso. But there are managers that are made to handle egos. There are managers that are actually made for big clubs. We've seen that with mistakes that Man United have been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
We've seen that with even Barcelona. There are managers that are made for big clubs. There are managers that are made for mediocre clubs, with all due respect to all other clubs. I mean, you can't compare the size of Real Madrid with the egos and their pay slips, with just a random person coming. So I understand. Uh, who do you think? I have some options for you. There is Xavi, there is Arbeloa, that is just the champion with the under 19s. I think he celebrated yesterday, who is a winner. Xavi is also Bundesliga champion, still competing in second in the Bundesliga. You have Zizou, who is available. I know he's waiting for the French job. You have Klopp, which has been thrown into the mix here and there. You have even wild cards like the return of the Messiah, Jose Mourinho, who is available, but is also waiting for the Portuguese job. I mean, so who for you and why?
Personally, I prefer Zizou. He's my first choice. But considering he's also in line waiting for the France job, which most likely will be vacant by next year after the World Cup. So it wouldn't be practical to get somebody just 1 year, and then so that means the project is going to suffer. Um, Going to Klopp, he's an experienced manager, but I feel like his personality will be it's not going to be compatible with our board, with how they do things. So he's not going to get his way, and I feel like it's just going to
So
be
do you think
too.
he prefers that freedom to get
Yes,
whoever he likes
yes,
at the time that he likes,
yes.
while our board needs to have some sort of power
Oh
and
yes,
control over some footballing decisions?
exactly. So that is the
Mhm.
problem that I envisage
Okay.
with him. Xabi Alonso makes the most sense. The reason is because skill-wise, capacity-wise, I mean, you can't look away from what he has achieved with this Bayern Leverkusen side. He took the team from 17th place, I think. They finished 5th or 6th, was it? And then the following year won the Bundesliga without without losing a single game and
without breaking the bank.
without breaking the bank. Same players mostly. So it's impressive. I mean, throughout the campaign in 3 competitions, you only lost 1 game. It's really impressive. So you could only think, what would he do with a squad of superstars of this caliber? I mean, he can basically levitate the entire team and will be trashing teams 5-6-0. So it's more or less like the prospect of what he could do that is appealing to us fans. And I don't necessarily believe that he won't be able to handle the ego, since he's part of our alumni. He's aware of all the entails to hold the job. And Zizou also, the first time he came on, I mean, he didn't ever have any experience. In fact, you could say he was less experienced than Jabi is now. So we are hopeful that he can actually turn our situation around. So
Okay,
yeah, Jabi Alonso
just
should
to
be.
finish this section. Okay, Jabi Alonso
Yeah.
for you. If you had like the most possibilities, Jabi Alonso.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have so many things. I don't know if we can finish in time, but then in terms of squad strength and player discipline. So talking about our squads, do you think it's as strong as people say, or there are just too many hidden cracks, unbalanced? I mean,
It's mostly
talking
unbalanced.
about the problems, is it that we have a wrong mix of aging midfielders instead of experienced midfielders,
Yeah.
to help the young ones? There is a difference between aging and experience,
Yes.
Can we blame it on injuries, Can we blame it on inconsistency of stars? I mean, it all boils down to 2 things. For you, is it the squad strength and freedom given to them, or the discipline?
I think it's balance, actually. We lost technical players and experienced players over like in the past summer in Toni Kroos, Nacho, and Jose. So you're losing aerial prowess and experience up front. You're losing the experience at the back, and you're losing a highly rated technician of the ball in the middle of the park. And you didn't replace any of these guys. So the whole team is unbalanced. There are no leaders in the positions as we used to have in previous years. So they just need to work on bringing back that balance. That's my opinion.
Okay, so again, one of the main issues, do you think it's freedom versus discipline? So there's always this talk about letting players express themselves, like the Zizou era. I mean, in the Zizou era, that freedom was there, and we were blossoming, versus things like strict tactical discipline. For example, in the Mourinho era, that you play Ozil in a specific role, and to the letter you let him know what he's going to do. So does this too much freedom kill the structure, or does strict discipline kill creativity? I don't know.
I think you have to have discipline first before you can talk about giving freedom. The Mourinho era gave us that structure. It gave us the mentality to, stick to something that works, even if we don't really understand it, buy into the manager and just drill on. So afterwards, I think after Mourinho, we got Ancelotti, who sort of eased it a bit, but however, you still had that core discipline. So, so discipline first and then freedom. Yes, you could argue and say under this team, there is no discipline whatsoever. Everybody is just running wild and running into each other.
So do you think that's why players like Vini are struggling?
Yes. Oh, yes. But then again, you could argue and say Vinny may not thrive in a very disciplined structure because he's a player that likes chaos. So,
Talking about Vini's poor form especially, what do you think is next for him? Because my question here is he overhyped, or is he like Michu, one season wonder, like Benzema used to hint?
I think he's just struggling with internal things, coming from the Ballon d'Or that he was supposed to have, we felt he was supposed to have won. And the arrival of Kylian Mbappe, the team is also not playing well. There's a lot of pressure. But I do rate Vini Jr. as one of the best players in the world. I think he can come good, maybe under a good manager.
Maybe.
No, he will come good, inshallah. He will come good.
So, I mean, let's say you have one blank check and one elimination gun. Who would you remove from the squad, one player, and who would you add?
I would
not replace, basically.
Yeah.
Just remove anyone and then add anyone.
First player, Lucas Vazquez.
Yes, okay.
You can't do anything with that guy. I mean,
yeah. But Lucas Vazquez, I think they are the type of players that Madrid always had, but not playing right back, basically. If you look at our history, we always had players like Lucas Vazquez, Pedro Leon, Callejon, Granero, somebody, a right-sided midfielder that is not needed most of the season, but plays one or two and just does the job. No need to do fancy things, just go and play. Vertical or horizontal football, that's it, nothing. We always had that, but I think Ancelotti changed that and then moving somebody to right back and playing big games and without motivating. You're not a motivator like Pep, or Mourinho, playing players like Rico Lewis in centre mid, and then performing. You are not that kind of manager. You are a different type of manager. But then, fair enough. Lucas Vazquez, I think he has played his part as the right midfielder successfully. But as a right back, I think it's an L for us. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So this is your bullet. You've shot it. Remaining one blank check signing for you.
Bastoni.
At centre back.
Yes.
I think everybody's wish list.
Yeah, I think an area that I feel like we're dumbing down the problem is actually at centre back, because you have David Alaba coming back from an ACL injury and still not at optimum performance. Militao with 2 ACL injuries in 1 year. And Rudiger still suffering from a knee issue that possibly may lead to surgery. And then so you have one inexperienced centre back in Raul Asensio, one in Joao Martinez who's coming back from an ACL injury. You have no one at the back. Like, you don't have any world class personality there. So it would be good for the club if we could get Bastoni for however much he's going to go for.
For me, it would be Nuno Mendes from PSG, basically. He would fit right in, work rate, speed, defense, attack. You can even play him at centre back sometimes. He has the stature. So, there is a lot of work to be done. I'm not even going to the midfield because it's sometimes unbalanced.
Yes,
you don't have a natural
distributor
defensive midfielder.
No, defensive midfielder, you could say Tchouaméni is a good defensive midfielder. It's just that he lacks the structure to play that. But he's actually even coming good. True. You could say since 2025.
Yeah, in the past few matches, I think he has made a lot of tackles, which was unlike him, basically. Yeah. He has always been a DM on paper, but trying to do some tricks, go and attack. If you are a Makaleli or an SCN or Kante, or you're not even expected to do anything. Just clean up the dirt.
Just destroy everything in your path.
That's it. There are so many things. We would have gone deeper into Vini Jr., Mbappe. But do you still think that the trident can still work under another coach?
Yes.
Of Vini, Mbappe, and Rodrigo?
Yes, it will. Although I have my reservations about Rodrigo. I'd wish we would talk about him, even if it's a little bit. Rodrigo.
Yeah, so what are your reservations, basically?
I want Rodrigo to either have a new role or he should be sold. Because for a club like Real Madrid, I feel like he's not consistent enough to start for Real Madrid.
Yeah, consistency has been a very big issue for Rodrigo. But you could say the same about in Real Madrid Mbappe. You could say the same thing about Vini. Uh, for me, so this is the next section where you would choose
Yeah.
either or. We always have this.
Yeah.
So I will skip the ones for the Barca. But I mean, we can do it for the Barca. It was for him to choose Xavi or Zidane, both as a player and as a coach. But I already know the answer. So I already know Prime Benzema or Prime Lewandowski. I already knew the answer.
Yeah.
So for them, I wanted to know to win La Liga or the Champions League.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they would want to win both,
Yeah.
but then. So for you, it's Mbappe or Vini.
Vini.
Wow, that was surprising. So Vini or Rodrigo,
Vini.
CR7 or R9,
CR7.
win La Liga or get a new coach.
New coach.
Wow, Rafinha or Lamine Yamal,
Rafinha.
start Endrick or start Arda.
Arda.
Okay. Wow, what a fantastic episode. I mean, huge thanks to you for making out the time. I mean, from all our busy
Yeah.
schedules, for this very fiery discussion. I'm sure it's going to be some controversial things we have said here
Yeah.
also. And to our listeners, let us know in the comments, is it time for Carlo to go, or are Madrid the real deal this season so far? Let us also know if you want VR to just disappear or should it stay. So don't forget to subscribe wherever you get the chance or wherever you watch your podcast. Thank you very much. Until the next time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.